All right, so here we go in the book of Enoch, chapter 78, as you can see. We're going to start at verse 3. And it reads, "These are the two great luminaries. Their circumference is like the circumference of the heaven, and the size of their circumference of both is alike." Verse 4. "And the circumference of the sun, there are 7 portions of light, which are added to it more to the moon, and in definite measures it is transferred till the 7th portion of the sun is exalted." All right, so I read that just to give you an idea of what's being spoken of here instead of just going straight to the point, right? So in continuation, verse 5. "And they set and enter the portals of the west." Okay, so as you can see today, in real time, where does the sun and the moon set? They set in the west, right? When the sun goes down and the evening starts, it's in the west. When the moon sets and the morning starts, the moon is in the west, right? "And make their revolution by the north." What's the north? That's the sky. That's up, right? "And come forth through the eastern portals when the sun rises, of course. Where is it? It's in the east, right? The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Same thing for the moon. When the moon rises during the evening time, it comes from the east. And then when the morning time comes, she's in the west, right? Verse 6. "And when the moon rises, 1/14th part appears in the heaven. The light becomes full in her. On the 14th day, she accomplished her light." Okay, so when it says right here, when she accomplished her light on the 14th day of the ancient Hebraic month, that means that she's full. Okay, as it says here, the light becomes full in her on the 14th day, right? Just like it says in the book of Chadash, the 14th and 15th day, right? She accomplished her light, so she's full. So that's the reason why I say during the 14th and 15th day, which is the full moon, okay, which is technically the 14th and 15th day of the ancient Hebraic month. That's when the Feast of Purim is, right? Verse 7. "And 15 parts of her light are transferred to her till the what? The 15th day, when her light is accomplished according to the sign of the year, and she becomes 15th parts, and the moon grows by, in parentheses, the addition of 14th parts," man. Okay, so that's letting you know that the moon is full. All right, so let's jump down to verse 11. And it reads, "During all the period during which the moon is growing and her light, she is transferring it to herself, when opposite to the sun during the 14th days." Okay, 14th day, in parentheses, right? Or semicolon, or column. "Her light is accomplished in the heaven," meaning she is full during the 14th and 15th day, right? "And when she is illuminated throughout, her light is accomplished full in the heaven." Okay, so that's when she's opposite, as it says here, from the sun. So when the moon is full, in which you will see in a few days, you will see that she's totally opposite from the sun, right? You will see the sun setting in the west, and then you will see the moon in the east, right? Verse 12. "And on the day she is called what? The new moon," all right? But what day? The first day. And it say the 14th day when she's full, right? Or the 15th day. It said on the first day of the month, right? She is called the new moon, not the full moon, right? And unfortunately, like a lot of, brothers and sisters of this faith who claim to be of the faith, who's keeping the new moon during the full moon. But it says right here, the first day she is called the new moon. For on that day, light rises upon her. And it says she's already accomplished, as it says right here, right? It says the light rises on her. When the light rises on her, that's the crescent. Okay, the crescent on the, if I'm looking at this phone, it's on my right side, right? But in her uh, direction that she's traveling in, it will be on her left side. But if we're looking at her, it's on our right, right? So that's the right beginner's crescent, right? In which the people of the Islamic faith says the new moon, right? But right here, it says the new moon is when the light is rising upon her, when it's beginning to rise, right? But you will see here, verse 13. She becomes full exactly on the day when the sun sets in the west, and from the east she rises. Okay, just like I said, she will be, you know, approximately or exactly adjacent to the sun when the sun is setting in the west, right? And she, from the east, she rises at night, and the moon shines the whole night, okay, as she does during the full moon, right? Till the sun rises over against her, and the moon is seen over against the sun, where? In the west, right? As she's setting during the morning time, the wee hours of the morning in her western portal, right? And then the sun is raising up adjacent to her, right? Verse 14. On the side whence the light of the moon come forth, there again she wanes, meaning that, she's losing the light after the full moon, after the 15th day, right? She wanes till all the light vanishes and all the days of the months are at an end, okay? Meaning that it's going to be the first day of the month, okay? So when all of the light when it vanishes off the moon during her waning stages, that means that's the new moon, okay? That's the first day of the month, as it says here, right? As she wanes till all the light vanishes and all the days of the month are at an end, and her circumference is what? Is empty, void of light, right? Void of light. So you can't say that you're in this faith and you're keeping the new moon. Just like I was telling the brother, I said, how can you say that the new moon is the full moon, but the book of Enoch says the new moon is the dark moon, right? Void of light. And her circumference is empty, void of light. So how can you read that and say that you're in the faith and the truth, and then you still say that the new moon is the full moon, right? So as I was saying, this is how this right here, you can link this to the story of Esther on the proper time, how to keep the Feast of Purim, not only Purim, but, all of the other high holy days. Okay, so the first day of the year is going to be during the dark moon. That's going to be the new moon at the beginning of April. It's going to be during the beginning of April and the ending of this month, which is March. But technically, in the ancient Hebraic timing, it's the 12th month, right? But in April, that's going to be the beginning of the new year during that new moon, which is the dark moon. And then during the full moon, that's going to be the Passover. Okay? So this is how you know how to properly keep the high holy days, man. Okay? And the comings of the new moons. All right?